Episode 7 of Alien Earth begins with Slightly shocked as the facehugger does its work. Slightly is back in his room now and Arthur stashed under his bed. Smee hears a commotion and heads inside. Ray's shocked to see Arthur and the facehugger. Slightly brings Smee on board with a mission to bring him down to the beach. As they head out into the corridor, Kirsch goes to the lab. Ray sees the flies corrode some of the electrical boxes and sets to work bringing soldiers in to clean up the mess, doing their best to contain the area. Boy Kavalier is shown the video footage of Tootles' death and realises Ocelus is more intelligent than he initially thought. He forbids any of the hybrids from entering the lab from now on and becomes obsessed with Ocelus, believing it should be moved for further analysis despite Atomine's concerns. Wendy rocks up to the lab and sees Tootles' dead body, shocked at the death. She doesn't quite understand here, given she's premium, but she intends to tell the others all the same. When the soldiers block her off from leaving, she communicates with the alien, which bangs its head against the glass. Kavalier is concerned but lets her go, needing to get to the other hybrids. However, their trackers have obviously been turned off. Now Wendy reunites with Joe here, who pleads with her to leave. She wants to bring the others on board, but Curly wants to stay. She promises not to tell, but it's a little too late for that. Wendy hacks the monitors and lets the xenomorph out. As they make their way through the island, they come across gravestones with their former human names on. Now Kirsch catches up with Slightly and Smee in the hallway here, giving them access to the elevator and encouraging them to hurry up. He knows about Slightly's chats with Morrow, of course, and helps them escape. Outside there are numerous patrols and the facehugger eventually comes off Arthur's face. We all know what's coming of course, but like winding up a violent Jack in the Box, every scene with Arthur from here onwards is a little tease as we wait for the inevitable chest bursting. Eventually it does burst out and a baby Xeno races off, leaving Slightly and Smee shocked as they rendezvous with Morrow. Now when Morrow learns what's happened, he heads out with his small team hunting to get it back. Meanwhile, Boy Kavalier has Ocelus moved to his office, where he believes this creature is the key to his intelligence woes. He wants to move it into a human host after realising it understands human speech and recites 3 digits of pi. Now Cavalier's idea is to move the creature into a human with low IQ so they can properly test its smarts. Atomine's nods, agreeing to start a list. Out in the woods, Wendy and the others are suddenly surrounded by soldiers. The xenomorph jumps down and attacks, but Wendy, Nibs and Joe are all fine since Wendy can communicate with the creature. She reaches out and touches it before telling it to hide and follow. Joe grabs a gun from one of the soldiers and takes off, and as he does, the baby Xeno is captured, but not by Morrow. Now Kirsch blindsides Morrow and his small team, double crossing them and showing that he was very much using Smee and Slightly as bait to lure the cyborg in. Now Morrow is captured while Smee and Slightly are grounded. Joe, Nibs and Wendy make it down to the dock where they find the boat waiting for them. However, a whole bunch of soldiers are also here, including Rashidi. Nibs is psychotic and attacks, before Joe eventually subdues her by electrocuting the hybrid. However, it's not before she winds up with several gunshots for her troubles. Now Wendy is shocked and has the xenomorph lying in wait as the soldiers stand and watch them. Wendy is angry and looks like she could order the Xeno to attack, but before she pulls the trigger, the episode comes to an end. Now without this review descending into another rant, because I know I've done this a lot during the recaps of this series, there are some positives to come out of Alien Earth. For every dreadful scene with the xenomorph, the Ocelus eyeball creature is really well handled. Now every scene with this included is unnerving, tense and well written. It's easily the star of the entire show, and it's helped along by beautiful visuals and a haunting score. The set design is for the most part excellent, and the interiors in particular look great, and the use of colour is, on the whole, very good. However, all of this is undermined by the overall writing in Alien Earth, which combines plot armour, convenient writing and contrivances in one digestible 40-minute romp. As soon as we begin, Slightly is back in his room. Now, he either managed to leave the vents, evade the bugs, open the lab door and drag Arthur back into his room without being caught by the soldiers, or those vents lead directly to his room. But then that in itself is problematic too, because that is a containment lab, right? And we never saw any vents inside Slightly's room, nor does it make sense structurally for a lab to be linked to one random bedroom. Unless I missed it while watching, of course. But one of the more egregious issues here though, is the way Alien Earth is trying to introduce new ideas to the Alien franchise, but doing so in a timeline set 2 years before the first Alien movie. Here we're led to believe that xenomorphs have a secret language we can't hear, not to mention all the issues with the hybrids and the simps. On paper, they're nice ideas, but this secret language in particular contradicts with the mythos of a xeno being a perfect organism that the original movie started with. To be honest, it feels more like it's been introduced as plot armor so Wendy and Joe can survive the xeno attacks. But then overlooking that, the character writing continues to drag. We're told important details that are immediately contradicted in the next scene. For example, Smee and Slightly need to meet Morrow, and they're on a tight window to do so. This has been a big part of Slightly's motivation in the past few episodes, and part of the reason he forced the issue with Arthur. But yet we forget all of that here as the boys stop in the jungle to build a floating raft so they can move Arthur's body. But then we have Morrow. He's been very careful up until this point, and ignoring the fact he somehow manages to head to the island without detection and pop up out the water, he decides the best course of action here is to stroll in through the front doors of Prodigy HQ. Really? I could go on, but ultimately this episode is the perfect embodiment of everything wrong with this series. With a stronger script and better pacing, not to mention better lighting and shots of the xenomorph. God, it looks awful here. This could have been one of 2025's best shows. Instead, this is another sloppy, poorly written and contrived series on Disney+, and it seems doubtful that next week's finale is going to make any difference to that. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.